Hey friends, it's my first video of 2021. Good riddance to that year, huh? That was pretty messed up. And 2021 has just started and it's been a crazy week. Storm in the Capitol. So I definitely had some trouble trying to finish this video, feeling like it was, not doing anything, you know what I mean? Like, what a time to not make political art in America. But, it's what I do, and hopefully it brings joy to some people, distraction. So over Christmas, my husband and I went to Hanoi, and we went on a cruise, a 2-night cruise to the Ha Long Bay. So that was that video that you saw, stuff from that trip. It was also our 4-year wedding anniversary, so that was kind of like why we splurged a little bit. We went on a really nice boat on the bay, and we got a really good deal because of COVID, so feels weird to benefit from COVID-19, but they told us on our trip that like normally there are like 700 boats on the bay, and right now there are only about 200, or maybe even less than that. So I think they appreciated us, going, but it was good because we got to see the bay pretty pristine. It wasn't as polluted and there weren't as many boats on it, so it was nice. As I've mentioned several times, the sensor on my iPhone had been damaged, so whenever I took video, I had problems with it. So I finally bit the bullet and bought a new iPhone 12. I'm very excited about that. I was thinking about recording with it, doing this video, but I'm using my Nikon still, but I use my phone for my audio. So just a little behind the scenes, I record the audio with my phone and then I sync it after the fact. So that's how I do that. But if I were recording with the phone, then the microphone would be further away and I would have to like talk louder and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that this microphone picks up my voice and everything well. But it felt really crazy to spend all that money on a single purchase. But my old phone was an iPhone 7, so that was like four iPhones ago, and I never upgraded. So I feel like if I do that, I'm being good, and I use my phone all day, all the time. So it seems like if I'm gonna spend my money on something, it should be something like that. So in this video, I am going to work on several pieces using Sakura Color Products Moonlight Gelly Roll gel pens. I bought these on Lazada, which is Vietnam's sort of Amazon. They just popped up when I was searching for other types of gel pens, I think. And so I just bought some random colors. And so I'm just gonna kind of review these pens. For those who don't know me, my name is Brian Hoffmeister. I'm an American artist living in Vietnam. This is my channel. I make art. I kind of show some video of like my life in Vietnam. And if that sounds fun to you, please subscribe. And if you haven't already, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. Thank you. So let's just get into the video. So here's me making some work. So I'm starting as usual with the template I have made. And I basically knew that I wanted to create several simple permutations and sort of have a series at the end of single colors. I thought that was the best way to sort of test these pens and see how well they work. Each one is slightly different in the number of lines that I use. You could see already how towards the point there's a lot of accumulation of the material, but then it gets quite minimal as it goes away from the point. So it's a really subtle pen. So far I used red and an orange, and this is a blue. The blue comes out quite nice, I think. But again, depending on the angle of the camera, it looks different. Here is a piece that was part of a series of 3. I'll show you towards the end of the video all 3 of them. But these were based on some pieces that I did last summer, which were using a similar color palette, but they were all on white paper. So I kind of wanted to see what those same colors looked like on black paper, and they're kind of interesting. But I think overall, and I'll give you my full sort of thoughts about the pens toward closer to the end of the video. But as a spoiler alert, I don't really love these pens. Another thing I notice with these pens is that they fade a bit. And I don't know if it's the paper or the pens. I think it's the pens, because I've used this paper for a while now and I haven't noticed it like sort of absorbing pen color. I started all these pieces before we left on our trip to Hanoi, and most of them were finished, most of them were finished before I left, and there were a couple that weren't. But when I got home, I noticed that they were faded already. So that's kind of quite bothersome. And that was only after being gone for a little more than a week. So it's a little disconcerting. I don't know if other people have had issues with this, with the Moonlight pens, but for me, that's like pretty much a deal breaker in terms of like, do I think I would? It's not up to my standard of quality, I'll just say. I would feel very uncomfortable trying to sell artwork made with these pens, because I don't know if in 10 years even that they'll still be visible. I think ultimately what I might do with this collection, this little mini collection, is offer them as like a package of 5 with all 5 colors, and just sell it really, really inexpensively, and just sort of be upfront about it and say, I don't know how long these pieces will last, because I'm just not super familiar with this type of pen. But if you're really into the look of them, right here, it looks kind of cool. The subtlety of it, the sort of, it looks mysterious and slightly magical. And so I'm not saying they're totally terrible, but I just kind of don't trust them, especially because after they sat for a couple weeks, they sort of faded a little bit. And again, I'll show you towards the end of the video what I'm talking about. So I thought I'd do some side-by-side comparisons with other pieces that I've used with Gel Extreme gel pens against these. And just looking at them, you could see how differently the pen works. I think that one of the main things is that the Sakura Moonlight pens, it is a clear substance with like sort of glitter just suspended in it. So when you go on, when you make your lines, it's just kind of like these lightly glittery lines with not a lot of opacity to the line. It's just kind of like a faint glitter sort of pattern. Whereas with Gel Extreme, you have like an opaque medium with a glittery sort of metallic medium inside of it. And so that's kind of like the main difference with other gel pens I've been using. The Sakura pens, the Moonlight pens, are less prone to smudging, but I still worked in the way where I work like a couple lines at a time and make sure not to move my ruler over the wet ink. I don't know how necessary that was, but I'm just so used to working that way. That's how I worked. So I guess it's nice that it doesn't smudge, but it doesn't really outweigh all the other negatives in my mind. The delivery is not very consistent with the Moonlight pens either. It's they tend to be like thicker at points and thinner at other points, and it's just an uneven delivery of the material. So I don't really love that either, especially with precise looking work. So I still want to do some work on white paper just to see how that looks, and like maybe do a few more pieces. But in general, I think I'm not really gonna use the Moonlight pens very much in my work in the future. I recently got some some Sakura Gelly Roll metallics, which are a little bit more like the Gel Extremes from what I can tell. So I'm gonna do those. I'll do a review of those soon as well. So in the finished pieces, I do think it's kind of interesting how the direction of the light hitting the piece affects how it looks. I think it's interesting, but I still don't know if it's like again, something that I want to use. But like, the work really needs to be seen in person to really get the impact, and you have to kind of look at it from different sides and stuff. And so I took this video where I just like spin it around where the light hits it from like 360 degrees, so you can kind of see how that looks. The downside with this is that it's like very difficult to photograph. You can see from the photographs I use that like none of it really looks great, and it's like, so it's not very like Instagrammable, which, you know, we're all working now like fully on the internet, so you have to be able to take a good picture. So again, I would say overall, Moonlight pens are thumbs down. They're cool, they're interesting, but they're not like something that I will probably use at all. I'll try and do a couple on white paper and see if it feels any different or better, but for now I just don't really love them. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in next time. I was doing these every 2 weeks, but every week, but I think I'm gonna switch to every 2 weeks because it's just like really difficult for me to do a new video every week. Filming is no problem, but it's just editing and doing this part, getting ready to like the emotional strength to do this like sort of talk to the camera moment. It's not really that difficult, but like, you know, I just have to be in the right mindset, and it takes me some time to build up mentally to do it. So I also have to turn off my air conditioner, and I get really hot and I start sweating. So I don't know if you can see that, but I'm like getting sweaty. It's insane how quickly my apartment goes from cool to hot just from turning off the air conditioner for like 5 minutes. So I have to open the window or the shades all the way so that the light comes in, so that you can see me when I film. It's just like this terrible cycle. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching, and I we'll see you next time.